was that many in the entertainment industry were like basically almost no, literally calling for his head. Snoop Dogg said something like "Good luck." Watch your. He didn't say "watch your back," but it was the equivalent of it. And then some other rapper put out a video where he was calling on Crips to shoot at Kanye if they found him. And like the odds of Crips entering Kanye's Kardashian castle is laughable. But the thing is that it's regardless of whether they what he thinks of Trump or what they think of Trump, it just appalls me that like anybody would call for violence over somebody having a different opinion over who they like. And what they were also mad about was that Kanye said, well, 400 years of slavery, that's a choice. And at first I thought, well, what the hell is he talking about 400 years of slavery? But then I think what he's referring to, I could be wrong here, and I forget what I exactly read as far as the interpretation of it, but I think he's not talking about the literal era of slavery alone. I think he's saying that he considers much of Black America still under slavery to limited thought for opportunities and things like that. And I know he also said in either a song or an interview recently, he's like, well, that blacks thinking they can only be Democrats is like plantation thinking, that they're stuck with just one master and not making any opportunities or choices for themselves. And so I think, so I think his slavery comment, if I'm understanding it correctly, was taken out of context, and that pissed off a lot of people. And in Detroit, there's one radio station that actually, and there could be more doing this too. They tried to start a hashtag mute Kanye thing, and they were like, with the limited voice that we have and the power we have, should we stop playing Kanye's music because he likes the president? I mean, so and then over the course of a week, this was a very limited survey, so I think it is flawed. But one believed to be a big survey, it was actually 200 people, found that support among Black respondents was double within a week, from 11 to 22% for Trump. I think that's what they're scared of, and I think they really are scared that Kanye could wake some people up to thinking, okay, can you think for yourself?
Yeah, it started off actually with his tweet saying, "I like the way Candace Owens thinks," and she was talking on. And
who is she? If you could explain to people, and I don't even know that much.
Yeah, she was. I'm trying to look up the exact.
I know she's a conservative
that hired her for
right?
communication, but she is a, I guess, a convert, as you might say, from Democrat Party to conservative. No, I don't know that it's Republican, but conservative. Yeah. And she has said, you don't have to think all the same thing. You don't have. And then, one of the things that right when he started, he said, "I like the way Candace Owens thinks." That alone got him upset. So he got people upset. So then he tweeted out the picture of the MAGA hat that's signed and blah blah blah, and saying, "I like Trump. Da da da. We're of the same. We're the same kind of guy with dragon blood or something, dragon energy, something like that."
Yeah.
Anyway, and so people got upset, and like Chance the Rapper tweeted out, not all blacks have to be Democrat.
Right. Yeah.
And then he backed down a little bit because then people started attacking him. So the idea that like he was just simply saying, and he explained himself. He said, "Look, I'm not saying that I would vote for him. I just said I like him. I like, I like Trump. He's my kind of guy." And I think the same thing. He was like talking about mental slavery, like where people just kind of have this one group think that he's against. And it's interesting to see everybody have a meltdown about that or take off. And sort of one of the comments from the whole Donald Glover video was that it, was commenting on the 400 years of oppression. Well, again, there's a bit of a mindset that can come from that too. So I don't know. What do you think, Michael?
Someone, I forget who tweeted it, unfortunately, but there was a tweet after Donald Glover's "This Is America" video where he said Donald Glover is doing what Kanye West thinks he's doing.
That was said on The View, actually, too. It was said by... Right? What's her name? McCain's daughter. I forgot her name. I'm forgetting. We're forgetting all these names.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny. But in terms of him admiring Trump and being a supporter of him, that's his right. And actually, it doesn't totally surprise me because when you think about it, both are people who were vehemently told you're never going to make it. You're not going to be able to achieve this goal that you have. So I think he sees Trump as also like this kind of this fellow
go-getter type of person.
this go-getter said, I don't care how many no's I hear. I'm going to keep going for it. And then it's and in terms of the support for him, it kind of reminds me. I've experienced this as a microcosm. Living in Los Angeles, and as I said on the show, I do not like Donald Trump, and I didn't end up voting for him either. But I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, and I don't like her either. I didn't think that she'd be good in the position. But I felt like it was something that I couldn't say out loud because in Los Angeles, especially, it was like, wow, sexist much, and I'm like, no, I'm not a sexist. I this particular female, I don't think she's good for the job. I'm not saying that a female couldn't be good for the job.
Right. Just because you said that proves that you're a sexist,
Exactly.
Well, to give a shout out to Michelle Wolf again, she had this brilliant line in her HBO special, Nice Lady. Watch that video or watch the show. But she says about Hillary, paraphrasing, she says, yeah, I voted for Hillary, but I don't like Hillary. That's why she lost. Nobody likes her. And she's like, she's the kind of woman you go to a party and she comes up to you and you're like, I got to go to the bathroom. And then she follows you to the bathroom. You're like, I think I'm going to try the men's room tonight. And, it's just, yeah, sorry. I mean, not somebody that anybody bought as sincere and dirty tricks to hurt Sanders, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway,
because on a wider scale, I think that he's getting so much backlash in the entertainment community because of what Donald Trump represents to people right now.
But but Trump is taking about Chance the Rapper. I was going to say one reason why I think he had the guts to and me. Well, I'll just say it personally. I'm not speaking for the show or whatever. It's our opinions, right? Personally, I've gone from being very anti-Trump to going, okay, to me, the reality of what he's achieving the last couple of weeks is pretty remarkable. And I've come out pretty strongly for him on most fronts lately. But the thing, I still think he's a pig as a personal life. But the thing is, I think Chance the Rapper, the reason why he thinks for himself is, and not, whether he's right or wrong, that is thinking for yourself when you dare to stand up to a backlash like this. And I think it's that he actually is quite remarkable. He does not have a record label. He has achieved his success completely independently. I don't know how he did it, but I was shocked. I heard that and I read about it a while back. He has no label, nothing. Like some people have backed him up and supported him and helped him blow up once he got so-called discovered. Mm-hmm. But he chooses to be 100% self-financed or self-backed. I mean, as far as no label. And so I think he has the freedom to speak out a little more. But then whatever scared him and pressure came upon him and he backed off some from this.
Well, and that's the thing. To me, as a Catholic, I look at this, it bothers me a lot because, we've talked about it a lot in this episode where there's a lot of things we don't agree with, but we don't necessarily say you don't have that choice because a big part of our relationship with God is about having freedom of choice to love God back or not to love God back. You know what I mean? So, to me, it bothers me on a more personal level when there is, I would not want to beat down someone for having a different viewpoint from me, whether I had the power to do so or not. I mean, as Michael said, you can't really say, especially if you're not liberal/Democrat, you are really a POS, as they say, in this planet. I've lost jobs and I've lost relationships simply for having a different point of view. That's not even with an argument. That's just simply people finding out that I was conservative or Republican. So therefore, everything was taken away. But that's what bothers me is that, I'm not a big fan of Kanye West, but I don't hate him either. I mean, he didn't like George W. Bush. He was on, and all of a sudden he was wonderful then, and now he's horrible because he says, I like Donald Trump personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or he likes the way a conservative black woman talks about how people should be free to think and choose to vote, and not as a group think that, and look at whatever she was bringing up on that. That would be a whole nother show talking about that.
Well,
but as a Catholic, free will is a very important part of our relationship with God, so it bothers me a lot.
Well, I think, and also I want to point out something I forgot to mention earlier. Kanye did not go to the Met Gala while Kim did, and at least one site pointed that out as perhaps this is another sign that of his independent thinking, that he's not just following a line of programming or thinking that is being forced upon many celebrities. So it could be an interesting thing, or maybe he was just watching the kids. I don't know. But
yeah. And folks at home, your favorite celebrity might be secretly conservative or Republican, but they will never be able to tell you.
Well, I think
them.
I think that I think if he keeps this up, it'll open up some avenues for people. And I think also, and to Kim's credit, I know.
I felt complimentary towards Kim too, and I was like, "What's wrong with me?
I know.
I'm needing to be a better person."
She defended him very strongly, his right to his opinions lately. And then she also, and one other thing that's remarkable, not exactly popular culture, but I feel, whether I've done it on this show or not, I've ripped Kim Kardashian for years as an airhead who's just everything about her I can't stand. But she, and of all people, Jared Kushner, got praised by Vanity Fair, of all places, completely like head spinning. Is this a joke? Article, but it's all true. She and Jared Kushner have teamed up to do a major, I forget exactly the detail they're going after, but they're calling on major prison reforms in America. And they're complete opposites. But the thing was that Jared's dad went to prison for some sort of campaign finance violations many years ago, and he always felt that his dad was overly sentenced. Oh, that's what it is. I think they're dealing with, they're trying to help defend, they're trying to get Trump to pardon, or at least get the release of a woman who has 25 years to life for a nonviolent drug offense. And they're trying, and they're teamed up beyond that to call for a complete revision of mandatory minimums, which is an incredibly harsh and like nasty aspect of our judicial system. If seriously take a look at it, folks, no matter how you feel about law and order and toughness, I think that it's proven to be an incredibly cruel way of punishing people. So anyway, but
if I were that program director on the radio station in Detroit, I would say, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll ban his music from like 2012 on, which I think is the perfect solution anyway, because I think that's what he started.
Because it sucks.
That's what he started getting kind of hacky.
He had an album with Jay-Z called "Watch the Throne," and I'm like, yeah, watch the throne, so because that's where the music belongs. If you know what I'm saying.
I was like, so you wrote this while you were on the throne. Got it.
Pretty much. Yeah. Watch the Throne. That's where the CD is. That was such a hyped album, and just like, I think everybody was disappointed.
And I love Jay-Z too. And
I know.
And that came out. I was like, man,
by the way, I was going to say the David Letterman show, so we're almost out of time, so maybe we each give like a plug really quick of something that we like that people may not know about. But what was you think about Jay-Z? Sorry.
Watch the Throne. It was like the music equivalent of that recent Adam Sandler, Chris Rock movie that came out on Netflix.
Was that bad?
Oh, so
I figured it would be bad, but the LA Times gave it a real rave.
Did they really?
Yeah, they interviewed the director, Robert Smigel, and said this is. They said this gives them hope that he's applying his more artistic instincts from movies like Meyerowitz Stories and Punch Drunk Love to his mainstream kind of comedies. They said it was really got a unique touch. I haven't watched it yet. It made me want to watch.
They were watching the week of. They didn't accidentally play The Godfather.
I know, right? No, it was a real serious praise for him in LA Times.
Interesting. Okay.
You watched it, or are you just
judging
Michael
it? Doesn't like the movie you liked a couple weeks ago, right? You
What?
guys have very different
Pretty?
Oh my
viewpoints
God!
on what's funny.
Well, I think I Feel Pretty is a magnum opus compared to the week of.
Did you see I Feel Pretty yet, Tanya?
You know what? I didn't take a shower yet today, so I feel pretty scummy. So maybe next week I'll feel better.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. I'm just asking if you saw the damn movie. Anyway,
you said I see. I can't
did you see I Feel Pretty today?
I get sound cut-offs here and there. So